everybody. Here we are. It's me, Cleo, and my sister, Colleen Pearl. And we are here to talk about what happened in 2024 and also to wish everybody a happy new year. I hope you all had a great time last night and bringing in this fabulous new year. And there's so much good stuff happening this year. But we are going to do a little recap about what happened in 2024, or at least what happened for us. To start off with, well, first of all, let me say hi to everybody. There's Christine Bermel, there's Charlie C. Sage of Fire, Susie Zuki, Pegasus, Julie, Rose Blue, Brato. What is that?
I think it's Brat too. Brat too, you know.
Lorraine, like two brats.
Yeah.
Karen. Okay, I think I've covered things, and then people are still coming in. So Star Midnight, hi. Maureen. Okay, whatever you said, Colleen, that was correct. Oh, and Sherry. Voices
Sherry.
Good to see you.
Sylvia from Colorful Foresight is here.
Wow. Everybody. Connie B. Thank you guys for coming.
Teacher Barbara, Arla. Cool. Very nice.
Very good.
Great.
Yay. People showed up. We just weren't sure.
That's right.
So 2024 was my year for YouTube. It was my first full year of having my channel on YouTube. And it just went so good. And, I just couldn't believe that it was working out like this, because it just seemed like when I first came on here, I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I didn't even know how to get a camera going. I didn't know how to get involved with StreamYard and making thumbnails and all that. So it's really been a very cool experience for me. What I hadn't planned on was that it was going to be so involved with politics, because that just, I didn't know that that's where everybody was headed. But that's how it worked out, and it's really been an amazing experience. And plus, I am so surprised by how much information and knowledge and support, actually, from all the people in the chat section that would come in and add to our discussions. It just was, it just really surprised me, and I just really loved it. That, because you guys seem to be so much more aware. I guess when you're reading things, you kind of get focused on clearing your mind and just reading what's going on. And you guys over here on the chat, you're just coming up with all this stuff. And I'm like, well, Yahoo, I didn't know that. So
yeah, very helpful.
And then besides that, I have met some and been on shows with just some amazing psychics on here.
Wow.
And I remember when I first came on here, and some people were saying stuff like, well, welcome to the community. And I'm like, the community? This is a community? Well, I found out, yes, this is definitely a community. And everybody on here, I mean, I haven't found one person that I could say that I was really, I don't know, disappointed in or couldn't work with or didn't understand. I mean, all the people on YouTube that are doing psychic things, they are so caring and just really loving and supportive and really good at what they're doing. I mean, everybody is so good at what they're doing. I just didn't expect that. And
you expected to find just a few like real charlatans in the bunch, right? You expected a few people who were just bullshit.
Absolutely. And I suppose maybe they are out there. I haven't met any yet. All the people I have worked with have been nothing but helpful. And especially doing shows with people and doing readings, private readings for people. I don't do that outside of YouTube, so I'm really it's just really been an amazing experience for me. And I'd just like to mention some of the people I've been working with that they've just gone overboard. I feel, I mean, they have just helped me so much, and that would be uh starting with Gerald, who is Tarot Stash, that he started a program called Caffeinated and Unfiltered, and I've been doing that with him for a while, I think since we got started with it. And then all the people that are on there. And then there's the Mystic Four, and that was created by Val, Dragonfly Crystal, and next channel, next next level channeling. And then through all these different shows, well, then my sister, she's done a whole bunch of shows of polyterology. That's been really cool. And she also does the Cool Crone Oracle that I do with her. And all of these people that I'm talking about are kind of part of that too. Marina from what is Marina's?
Heart-Centered Tarot.
Heart-Centered Tarot. I don't remember all their names because I just remember their names, not necessarily their channel names. But Sherry, Voices from the
Swamp. Oh,
Sherry,
Sherry does so much for everybody. She helps everybody backstage, and she helps coordinate all parties and contests. And I mean, you can't say thank you enough to Sherry.
Yeah, and she, I see her regularly.
Mhm.
Um,
And if I must say, Sherry still has a full-time job, and she does all that stuff for other people. That's just
wow.
Sherry, we have a word for that. I know you're in the chat. It's a fucking amazing. That's what you are. That's what that is.
Yes. Well, and Colleen works full time as well as doing this on YouTube. So for all you people that are doing work, regular jobs, including this, I'll tell you, I'm retired so that I can just devote my time to this. But it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. And that's just proven by the thousands of hours that we have accumulated, especially over this year, of people that have viewed our videos.
Mhm.
So I know I'm leaving a bunch of people out. Allison from Aries Girl Tarot.
Mhm.
She's on Mystic Four. Mystic Four has really been a fun one for me. So um, all the people in there, and especially Val, who started it, and then to have Gerald from Tarot Stash, that he is the consummate host, and he is able to make all of these programs come across so good. So I just want to thank all the people that I've done shows with. I mean, I've also done shows with all the big wigs, the Linda G. She probably has no idea who I am, but that's okay. And then
Yeah.
and at the time when I did, and Susan Lynn, and at the time when I did shows with these people, I didn't know who they were. I didn't know if they what the deal was, so I
Yeah.
didn't realize what I was walking into. But then, over time, yes, they're pretty amazing. And then all the other people on here that I haven't done shows with, maybe I'll get to do it this year. But it has just been a really it's really opened up my psychic abilities, because these people, when you have somebody that can validate what you're saying, it's just so helpful rather than doing everything by yourself, and maybe like doing readings for people like that.
Mhm.
So anyway, I'm just really thrilled with that. And the other thing is that by connecting with all these people that we're doing shows with, I noticed over time it automatically raises my own energy level.
Mhm.
Because all these people, they're so positive and they're so helpful and so supportive. It's just it was such a surprise to me. I didn't have a clue that that's what was going to happen by doing these shows.
Mhm.
So I totally appreciate everybody that's been showing up for them. And I have to just say, I am so proud of my sister. She is just she is just going to town here on YouTube. Uh, she's just gotten a ton more subscribers, which, by the way, please don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that like button because it helps us to stay on YouTube. But my sister, just in the last few months, has just gone overboard. And I think if you've been watching her, you know what I'm talking about. Her When she does a single show and she's talking about politics mainly, the way she does it with the tarot and then and maybe a little added astrology. Uh, Colleen, you're just doing a great job. And people love how you present the stuff, and you don't waste a bunch of time of just talking about nothing. There's a lot of content in there, and it gives us hope, and it's just wonderful what you've been doing, and I'm so happy to see you just being catapulted into the stratosphere here of YouTube and of the psychic community. So, uh, big hand for my sister.
Oh, stop. Please, please, everybody, no more. Oh gosh. Well, I still remember when you first came on my channel and how, our first couple of shows were not readings at all. They were just talking about things that we had read about, that we already had information about, and just sort of regurgitating it for the audience. And then before you know it, boom, you're doing readings. I remember this. That was towards the end of 2023 more, you right?
Right, right. I was on 2023, but I didn't actually get my channel started with my own videos and stuff until 2024. I,
Yep.
I might have done one or two in December of 23, but basically, yeah, it's just been a year since I've actually had my channel up and running and
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of amazing. I think I started my channel, I want to say June of 2020. Um, yeah, June of 2020. So coming up mid-year of 2025, that'll be 5 years, 4 years. I don't know, something like that. I don't know. It's taken a while. It's taken a while to get things really going. And I didn't do politics a lot at first. Not my sister, my daughter was helping me with my channel, and she was really like, I don't think you should do politics. You'll just get a lot of haters if you start talking about politics. Don't do that. So I didn't do it. And I was doing mainly spiritual stuff, personal readings, astrology, stuff like that. And then it was when we had Susan Lynn on, and I think it was probably early 2024, 2023. No, it had to be 2023. And she was very encouraging. She was just like, no, I think you should do politics. I don't think you're going to get a lot of haters. I think you need to go ahead and do that. So I did it, and I haven't looked back. It's been really fun because that's what I really wanted to do. I mean, I wanted to do a channel, but I also wanted to do politics. So I had to do it.
Well, I know, when we first got started with politics that we were both kind of hesitant about it because I mean it's just been crazy since 2016. So um,
Mhm.
we just weren't sure if we wanted to get involved that way. But then little by little, the more we got into it, suddenly we are just like on it, you know,
Yeah.
picking up all this stuff from our spirit guides about what was going on. And but it's so much different reading about politics than it is about doing a personal reading
Oh,
or
yeah. Yeah, it's very,
reading
very
or anything else. So, because there's going to be times when you just don't get it right. But yet, if you wait long enough, if you wait a month or 6 months or a year, a lot of times things come up that are right. So, um, yeah, it's a real crazy thing. So,
Mhm.
um,
And it's true that when you're doing politics, I think one of the reasons that it's so different from doing personal readings is, for one thing, the person you're reading about isn't asking you for the reading. So it's not like they're looking for, am I going to move? Am I going to, oh, Connie B said, I love polyterology. Thank you, Connie B. I do too. It's my favorite thing. But there's so many more moving pieces when you're doing political readings, because you're usually focusing on either one person, and then there's all the people around them, and then it's politics. Of course, it involves all sorts of people, and it's more complex than doing a personal reading, and yet it for a lot of people it's just easier because you're not dealing with, are you telling somebody that their surgery is not going to work very well, or that they need to be careful if they make a move, or that their kid's not going to do well in school? Like, those things are difficult to read about. But doing politics, I think, is harder in a way. You kind of have to get a feel for it after a while. But it's more complex, I think. Do you agree?
Oh, absolutely. Plus, when we first started doing politics, although it was crazy, and that's what we kept saying all through the year and the year before, was that the ups and downs and the energy that surrounds politics was so crazy. But this time, this is just so out of the ordinary. There's nothing going on in politics right now that could ever be expected. So when it did go just absolutely crazy, I mean, this is just the most chaotic yet exciting time in politics that this will be history making. This will be in the history books. What happened um, from 2016 on to the election in 2024. I mean, it's just, and then we're still guessing. We're still trying to come up with stuff.
Yeah, like, will they refer to it as the Trump era, or will they try to refer to it in a different way? This was the decade and a half where America almost slid into authoritarianism. That's kind of a long title, to have like a little snippet to call it. They most likely will call it the Trump era, because that's what it is. But yeah, I definitely think we're living through history, and it's kind of funny. A lot of us in 2024 were predicting that this election would go down in history because of Kamala, and it's going to go down in history because of the interference.
Right, right. Yeah, there's been so, I wasn't looking at it from the worldview. And I think that everybody needs to know, if they don't already know this, that what went on with our election, it was from foreign interference more than anything else, as well as some people in our country that are doing things to lean in Trump's direction. Whether that was encouraged by somebody, I don't know. I don't want to say, but there was so much election interference that it just kind of throws off the whole thing. And I know that right now we're getting ready for January 3rd to see what's going to happen, and then January 6th to see what's going to happen, or 5th. Can't remember. Um, I gotta say that I don't have time to watch everybody's videos, all the other psychics' videos.
Yeah.
I catch snippets of it, and as time goes by, everybody's starting to flounder. Everybody's starting to think, well, maybe it's just not going to go quite how we thought it was going to go. And of course, we don't know how it's going to go, but we're speculating. I still see Kamala being inaugurated.
Mm-hmm.
But boy, it sure doesn't, right this moment, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And then I see other things coming up that it almost sounds too good to be true. So rather than, here's what I think. Here's what I think I've been told. That since, like just last night, I saw someone talking about, oh, no, 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 Trump is going to get it. Trump is going to be inaugurated, and we're just going to have to live with it.
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Obviously, he did get the votes, but those votes were gotten illegally. Trump did not actually get the votes that they say he got because he cheated. Not him, maybe per se, but at his direction. And I just feel like some of the things that it's such a big deal right now with throughout the world. We're not the only country going through this. We're not the only country that's being very overly saturated with foreign interference. And this is something that the current Biden administration has to deal with. Well, I've heard some readers say that he's too tired, he's not going to do anything. And I didn't get that at all, and I still don't. But I did get from my guides that this thing is so secretive, and the way we're seeing this thing going up and down and up and down, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why the psychics can't really get a handle on it. Because first of all, the variables, the energy is static. It's just going everywhere. It could change on a dime. So the other thing is our guides. Well, my guides, I got to tell you, I'm special. I get a lot of inside information, but they're basically telling me, and I think maybe with others, they're not giving us specifics because this is so secretive. This is such a huge, big deal that's going on right now. And the psychics are so good at picking up on what's going on. They don't want us to expose the truth. That's how important this whole thing is. I mean, people have been talking about that this is really the same as an active war of what's going on with this foreign interference. So that might be part of the reason. I mean, that's what I'm picking up on of why we can't just say, this is going to happen and this is the way it's going to be. But we get hints of what's going to happen, and we've been getting that hint for a while of, it has not changed for me as far as Kamala being inaugurated. And, knowing me, I want to know exactly why, how it's going to happen, blah, blah, blah. And the guides are like, zip it. They're not telling me the whole story because they don't want me to expose something that, it's a long shot that anybody might be listening to me and picking up on something. But I think that there are foreign countries that are definitely watching what these psychics are talking about.
Oh,
And,
sure. Yeah.
Using it to their benefit. So there is a lot of things going on that we're not being told and that we're not supposed to tell. If so it might, it's just crazy that we're just going to have to wait. Plus, if things don't go the way we want and that Trump is inaugurated on January 20th, there is a reason for that, and it will probably change. But I'm hoping that, that this comes up before the inauguration. But just because that's what I want doesn't mean that's the way it's going to go. So right. I don't want people to freak out if it does go that way, because I see down the line that if that happens, things will change. But boy, don't give up on Biden. Don't think that Biden has gotten too old and too tired and disinterested. Biden is right on this. He is paying total attention to this. Mm-hmm. And he sees this as his duty. And I think, somebody was saying, well, he's not going to do anything. He's going to, what they said was it'd be like too little, too late. I don't believe that. Also, I think that between him and Kamala, that they are working on things and working with other people to see what can be done. I do think that Biden is also he's checking things out from his own administration so that when Trump gets in, there's certain things that Trump can't do because Biden will have made it put safeguards up to protect whatever rule, law, whatever he's doing, especially like this thing with the commuting sentences for people that are on death row. Trump is just going crazy over that. I feel like, I mean, I think that Biden is doing what he wants to do, but I also think I think it's a smokescreen. It's like, go ahead, Republicans, get all crazy about what Biden's doing, because what's really happening is we don't want you to know, and you're going to get screwed in the end. But we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think one thing that I've been doing is trying to do readings kind of nibbling around the edges of what's going on, because you can't go straight forward to the middle. Someone said it will be too little too late. No, I disagree. It won't be. Even if Trump does get inaugurated, that too will serve a purpose. You have to look at this from a 30,000 feet perspective. It's not just the United States. It's not just Donald Trump. It's the globe. It's the planet. I'm looking at a map right now, and it's frightening. I see like a lot of countries that are already in authoritarian governments, and it's really frightening. They're big countries. Not Europe, not Scandinavia, not North America, only one Central American and one South American country, but a big portion of Africa, authoritarianism, and Middle East, a lot of authoritarianism, and Russia is authoritarianism. So, the elections last year, 2024 was a pivotal year for elections around the globe, and most of the incumbents who ran for re-election in supposedly democratic countries lost. And that's rare. Most of the time for democratic countries, the incumbent does win re-election. So they get more than one term. They did not this time. And the people that they lost to were by and large authoritarian people, whatever, I can't speak. And or they weren't claiming that they were, but they are. And people kind of knew that. So it's not a great day for the earth, for the earth to all of a sudden switch over in not just 1 year. I mean, there's a few countries that have had this going on for about 5 or 10 years, but 2024 was a pivotal year where a lot of them switched. And look at what's going on in France. If France actually fell to an authoritarian government, or Germany's government right now is in a failure state. It's in a failed state. They don't really have a working government in Germany right now. France is right behind them. I mean, it's barely being held together. Even in Canada, they have an election coming up this year, and the scuttlebutt is that Trudeau is not going to win, that the person who's more Trump-like is going to win. So it's a really dicey year, or was a dicey year in that regard. And you can't, especially when you're reading, if you're going straight ahead at, well, what's going to happen? Well, no, you're not going to get an answer, because it is a very dicey situation, and so dicey that some things just have to be secret. They have to be behind closed doors. So what I'm trying to do is do readings around the edges and try to figure out things for particular situations and see if I can get more information that way. I'm not trying to expose the whole thing, because I know that that's wrong. I know that.
Well, and just like this question from Andrew, would your guides block info so people, situations stay protected? Yes, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yes, they will. And they will even take you down an alternate path so that you have something else to say. Very rarely, Susan Lin is one of the few readers that I've listened to that actually says, yep, they're telling me I can't say that, or yep, I shouldn't have said that, so we're going to change subjects. Like she's one of the rare leaders.
It's inadvertent that you're exposing something that foreign interference people might pick up on that. So, and it's still,
Yeah.
we're making predictions from our guides. So yes, they are being really careful. It's really kind of weird because up until I did this on YouTube, it's just all the guides have just been wide open about things, and I could always ask, or even argue with them about where something was going. This has been different, and I also have a set of or a team of people, of spirits that are focused on politics in America. So yes, we do have to be careful about what we say. But there is some stuff coming up, but the other thing is the timing. Like right now we're talking about is what's his name going to be
Speaker. Mikey
Mike
Moses.
Johnson, is that his name?
Yeah, that's his name.
And
Or you can call him Moses Mike. He answers to that too.
Moses Mike. Mm-hmm. And so, and it comes up in the news as well, and there's all this speculation, and Trump saying that he totally supports him. Of course he does, and I said he would, because he needs him to get in there so he can be what's it called, certified. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what we're waiting for? That he wants to be certified for the presidential?
Yeah,
for president. Okay. Yeah. Which comes up on the 5th or the 6th. I don't know. Mm-hmm. What is it?
The 6th. So 6th. January 3rd is always the day that they swear in the incoming class for Congress and the Senate. That's January 3rd. And the next thing that they do is or the first thing that they do before they swear them in is they elect the Speaker of the House, or re-elect the Speaker of the House. It's not a given that the previous Speaker of the House is going to be the next one. In fact, he's not, because the whole class is really, the new people are sworn in, but everybody is new in that class, including the Speaker. It's interesting, I looked at the so-called rules of how they do the first day of Congress, and it appeared to me that the clerk of the House could do the swearing in for the Congress people, in which case they would have people to be able to do the certification. But I think the Speaker of the House has to run the certification, because I also heard on Midas Touch that if they didn't have a Speaker of the House, they could not do a certification. And I would think that these guys would know, like Michael Popak said that when he was in school, before he went to law school, he majored in presidential elections and law. So I think he would know. I don't think they'd say that if that was really wrong, that without the Speaker, they can't do it. So that, to me, honestly, that seems like the most brilliant, easiest way to not have Trump enter the White House. Just don't certify. And don't certify because just don't have a Speaker of the House. How long did it take Mikey to get his position? Let's not forget, I believe it was 3 weeks. That's just enough time to get us past January 20th.
Well, it was just so ridiculous, and what the House, what kind of things that they did in 2024 was just minimal at best. I mean, they just didn't know. It was just a mess.
I think the only thing they actually accomplished was something like renaming a couple of post offices or something. Like they didn't get anything done. And I remember reading several, at the time I was subscribed to the New York Times, and I remember reading several times articles that said, this is the biggest do nothing Congress since like 18 something. I'm like, oh, that's pitiful. That is pitiful. So,
yeah, right. And so
they are pitiful.
But even if Moses Mike gets to be Speaker again, mm-hmm. That's not the end of the world right now either. They can. It seems like they can take speakers in and out of the program anytime they feel like it. And then, you know, from what I understand from the news, they were talking about the difference of maybe 1 or 2 votes. So,
Oh,
and one of those people, or maybe both of them, are Democrats. They need the Democrats to go their direction, and of course, nobody is. And so, if one of the Republicans defects and goes to the Republic or to the Democratic side, then he won't be in. And then we have to wait until they get another speaker, I guess.
yeah. Yeah. It's a pretty weird process. I guess they just have to do an election for one person at a time or a couple people at a time. And it's just, yeah, Sherry's confirming that's all they got done. Yeah, that was it. That was it. There was absolutely nothing that they blocked a lot of stuff. They blocked that brilliant border bill that could have been saving the day. They blocked that, but
Funny.
but
Thanks, Sherry.
thank you, Sherry. But as far as the um, election of a speaker goes, they're not. I don't know. I think the Democrats. I think Hakeem Jeffries made it pretty clear that the Democrats are not going to bail them out. So I don't think any Democrats are going to actually vote for Mikey Johnson.
No.
So there's that. And then the Republicans, there are many Republicans who are not going to vote for him either. So I think it's a pretty, I mean, even non-psychic people are predicting that he's not going to be speaker.
Well, yeah, if what you say is correct and that works out that way, yeah, he won't be speaker. It's interesting, you know, we've always been talking about Jeffries being speaker. We've been talking for 2 years about when is he going to be speaker. I never thought he would be in 2024. I do think he will soon be speaker.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember last time
especially if we inaugurate Kamala Harris.
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
there'll be more of a groundswell, but the Republicans are just hanging by a thread as far as their majority goes. They've got that one woman who's in the dementia center who is hanging on to her seat. Nobody is removing her from her seat. That's wrong. That is just wrong. The Democrats should jump on that like white on rice, because if this woman has not been in the Congress, has not physically been seen in the Congress or made any votes since something like April of the last year, so for like 7, 8 months, this woman has not appeared at all for any votes and hasn't just appeared in the hall. So she's head of some committee. And so her committee has just not met, or just the deputy has been running the committee meetings. And she's pulling a salary. She's pulling a salary that whole time and not doing anything except being on basically medical leave. So she should be removed. And so that seat would be up for an election. And then there's one other person, I can't remember who it is, but there's another Republican who really, for one reason or another, just hasn't really been in, and they need to be replaced too. So with those 2 seats, that means that the majority is up for grabs. It also means that even when they do votes, the Republicans say they have the majority because of those 2 seats, but do they really? They don't without those seats, because it's a 2-seat difference, isn't it? I think it's
it is a 2-seat difference.
It's a 2-seat difference. So without those 2 seats that are people who are phantoms, they're not really there. Now they're 50, it's 50-50. So who cares which party gets the Speaker of the House? Get somebody in there who can do the job. Hakeem Jeffries.
Right.
Hakeem Jeffries.
So I guess on Friday we'll find out just how it goes, right? Friday.
Yeah, Hakeem won't get to be voted in on Friday.
No. I mean, but on Friday is we find out if Mike Johnson is out.
Yeah.
And not necessarily who comes in, but who goes out, right?
Yeah, and I hear that somebody saw him at a U-Haul buying boxes and packing tape, so I don't think it's good for him. If I were him, that's what I'd be doing. I'd be looking at the writing on the wall and going, yes, I need to go back to Louisiana. This is where I need to go. It's bad. It's really bad. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna. He's. I mean, it's not a done deal, but I don't know. I'm gonna do my pendulum. Oh, now it's saying no. Before it was just going in a circle like it didn't know, but now it's saying no, he's not going to get in. And so they could elect an interim speaker like they did before, that guy Patrick Henry, which I love his name. It's a good old American patriot name there. But they could elect the stand-in speaker, the acting speaker or whatever, and then they would continue to have elections for a speaker supposedly while they're trying to get things done. But if this is a 50-50 Congress, unless Republicans walk across the aisle, which they probably would, there's not much to get done. But once they actually elected Hakeem, it doesn't matter how many votes there are. Hakeem will get things done.
Yeah, it would be nice to have somebody in there that finally got things done. I mean, so, but by January 6th, all the new people will be in.
Well, maybe. Will they be sworn in? I don't know. I don't know if you have to have a speaker that swears them in. I don't know who swears them in.
I know we went through this question once before. Some people said no, some people said yes.
Google it.
It should be interesting. I'm trying to see what everybody's saying over here.
No, it's got to be the speaker.
What are you looking at?
Who actually swears them in? It's got to be the speaker. It's got to be the speaker.
Oh, okay. They're also saying that woman that was in the for dementia,
Yeah.
in the memory ward, did not run this time, so someone else has her seat right now, and I'm assuming it's another Republican.
Oh, so the seat is filled. So it's not a phantom seat.
That's what they're saying. I don't know. I'm going by what Christine says, and that kind of makes sense, doesn't it?
About effing time. And she was from Texas too, and you know how creepy they are about their politics in Texas. So creepy. I read for a woman who lived in Texas. I read for her last night, and she was asking, "Gee, do you think I should move to California?" And I was like, "Yes, go. Book the moving company right now. Get the hell out of Texas. Why are you there?" You know.
There's a good question. Do you think Mikey? Do you think Mikey will squeal? Yes, of course he already is. He's just been kissing ass for Donald Trump, and Donald Trump's like, yes, oh yeah, this is who you should go for. What they're seeing here, though, is that Trump does not have quite the influence that he was hoping for, and I think that's surprising him. And I think the reason he doesn't, as much as Musk has been the one that got him into office in the first place and put all his money up for him, I think Musk is going to be the one to be the nail in the coffin that takes him down, because Musk just spews all this stuff, and he's so involved with other countries, and they're looking at his security clearance and stuff, saying, well, wait a minute, what has he been doing? They're getting ready to, I think they're going to take that away from him. But also he's just kind of I say he's kind of a screwball. Other people say he's just a drug addict. I don't know about that, but I mean, from what I see of him, he's just kind of a screwball. So, with a lot of money, everything he's doing, he has bought his way into it. And to me, it was irritating that the minute it was bad enough that Trump got reelected, although that was bogus as well. But to have this guy come in and acting like he's starting to call the shots, and he is just taking over. And I'm like, this is just unheard of, just unheard of as far as what I remember about politics. Now maybe they're, I mean, they're kind of comparing this to something with the Rockefellers. I just think the Rockefellers,
They bought it too. They bought it too because they could. They did.
they pushed their weight around because they had the money. But I don't know that they were bucking for an authoritarian government ever.
Oh no, 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 no. They just
So
want to be in the
this
best
is
spot. Yeah.
this is what Musk is doing, and it's all they've sat down. Musk and Trump have sat down at the table, and Musk said, "Here's what we need to do to make more money for ourselves."
Mm-hmm.
And that's all they're focused on.
Mm-hmm.
Except, well, Trump's not totally not focused. He likes the idea of being king. He likes the idea of being the authoritarian ruler. He likes the idea of just taking everything that he can and changing it the way he wants it to be. And I mean, he definitely wants to come in and change everything Biden's done, just like he did with Obama.
Yeah.
When he moved in 2016, change it all. Throw out the pandemic rules or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
Completely stupid things. And then all the people that he is putting into different positions within his administration. I can't believe more. Well, I don't know. I don't know exactly what you can say about that. It's just so ridiculous. Robert Kennedy, the head of the health or something. I'm like, nobody comes across. I mean, I'm sorry that he's got this disorder, and that's must be very hard and frustrating.
Is that the disorder that he had to take heroin for to cure it so he could go to school? Did you hear about that? He said he couldn't read. That's why he couldn't go to school. So he started taking heroin, and then all of a sudden he could focus and read. I'm like, are you kidding me? You actually said that on like.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he actually said that I don't know if it was on video or on radio, but he actually said that in an interview, and as if it was a really good thing.
My God. I mean, yeah, these kind of people, these quality people that Trump is putting into his administration, and all these ambassadors and heads of all these departments. Except, I mean, some of the departments, isn't he just planning on disbanding them anyway? So
they're just going to eliminate those departments. Anything that they don't completely understand what it does, they're just going to close it down. They're just going to fire everybody and close it down. And it takes years to build up a good department. First you have to realize that you need it. So you get a couple people in there to work on it, and then they figure out what else needs to be done and that they need support. So they get a support staff, and then they need a few more management people, and then they have a few more issues, and then it expands, and then the world changes and they have to change with it. Like, it takes decades to create like the EPA. That didn't exist when I was born. They didn't have an EPA in the 50s. The EPA was something that was created, I think, in the 70s. Or maybe the late 60s. And, it took decades for them to get their act together to really affect change and to really help people. But, anything that these guys don't understand, they're just going to blow it up. Just going to blow it up.
Oh, they're just going to make a mess because they're not only qualified because they don't have knowledge of how to do that job. They're just not. It'd be like saying, "Oh, Cleo, why don't you go do something?" I have no experience.
Why don't you be the Surgeon General?
Yeah, because at one time I did work in a doctor's office, so I would probably be qualified to do that.
More so than Robert Kennedy, that's for sure. More so than Robert Kennedy.
And then wasn't that guy, and didn't he do heroin for something like 17 years or?
Oh yeah, a long time. He made Hunter Biden look like a Boy Scout. I mean, this guy really went to town on it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just amazing. So the people that he's bringing in, it's because he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't have to worry about it.
No,
He's
and
not,
neither do they. They don't give a shit either.
they won't know how to, he'll just say, no, you go do what I tell you to do.
Yeah, and look at the people that he wanted to have. Matt Gaetz, known drug abuser and drug user. Pete Hegseth, now known alcoholic. Robert Kennedy, known addict, heroin user. Um, Elon Musk, ketamine addicted. Like these people are not doing things with a really great attitude towards life. Like
Well, they're not drug addicts or alcoholics. They're people that have been in prison.
yeah.
They're ex-cons. I mean, it's just
Or accused of sexual misconduct.
that too.
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, let's not forget to mention that Trump can't get out of his fine against E.G. Carroll, and
Oh,
that she is going to
Trump.
sue again for is it for defamation or?
Yeah, defamation. Every time he does this, she sues him for defamation.
And she's going to do it again. This will be the third time around. I mean,
Mhm.
it's just the amount of money he owes her is
It's approaching 100 grand. It's almost 100 grand.
oh really? I didn't realize it was that much. Oh my
100.
god.
I'm sorry. Did I say 100 grand? 100 million. Sorry, I misspoke. 100 million.
That's what I thought you meant too. 100
Yeah,
million. I thought
yeah.
it was like
No,
18 million or
no, first
something.
it was 5, and then they jacked it up to 83 million for the second one.
Oh, that's right.
And then,
And now there's a third one coming.
yeah, so it's going to be over $100 million. But will she ever get it? That's the thing, is that,
Well, and I thought that from the get-go. From the first 5 billion, I'm just like, well, is he ever really going to pay her? Probably not.
yeah, his excuse is he's going to say, well, I'm waiting for, Stormy Daniels to pay me what she owes me. Cuckoo. So hey, I threw out some cards on Mikey's chances and about squealing on Trumpy,
Okay.
and this is what I got. Like things starting Friday with the speaker vote are going to go downhill very quickly, very quickly. They're going to decide right at the top, you're not the speaker anymore. He may decide to walk. He may decide to just quit Congress altogether, because what a humiliation, right? And that's what little Kevin did. So he might do the same thing that little Kevin did. And once he gets thrown out as speaker, new scandals are going to come out about him. New stuff. So, Mr. I don't have a bank account, you're going to see some really dicey stuff in the news about him. And, bottom line is that going up I did a whole cross on it, and he's worried about looking foolish. He's worried about, getting caught with his pants down, basically. He does not have any redeeming virtue. He's not a good speaker. He doesn't really know how to get anything done. But it's interesting in how people see him. The card that came up in that position is the card that I use for Joe Biden, the King of Cups. So people don't see him as the King of Cups, but Joe Biden is looking at him, because I think Joe Biden knows that not only is he an insurrectionist, but he's done some other very shady things. And I think that's what's going to come out. I think some real definitive evidence against him that's going to threaten his liberty, shall we say. And the final outcome is the Queen of Swords. That could be Kamala Harris, or that could be some other prosecutor. So I don't think things are very bueno for Mikey Johnson. I think that he is in it up to his widow eyeballs. And I think that January 3rd, he's going to rue the day that he got up that day. He's just going to be like, I wish I'd never shown up for this.
Well, let me ask you, as long as you're doing readings,
Mm-hmm.
is all of this stuff going to all end up in court, or is it, the thing with what Trump's going through and what I think it might happen if he's not inaugurated, it will be handled like through the military and stuff. So I'm wondering, do we see a year of more court battles just like we saw in 2024, where every time we turn around, nobody gets in trouble because it's been in court, it's being delayed, it's being dismissed. What do you see on that?
Let's see. For Trump or for the whole situation in general?
The whole political situation in general for
Okay.
2025. But yeah, Trump being the main one, but because all his minions there's so much, they're going to be in so much trouble eventually. But the timing on this is cuckoo.
It is cuckoo. It is cuckoo bananas.
I like this. What Chris Cassidy said. When will they start liquidating Trump properties? Yeah. When?
Oh, well, the DOJ won't be able to do that because Letitia James is going to liquidate all of them for him. So the state of New York is going to get all of Trump's properties, even the one in New Jersey.
And we've been waiting for that since forever. I mean,
well, but they're holding off because he's he's a president-elect.
Okay.
Oh, these are terrible. Oh God. Well, in the end result, we're very happy with it. But so the MAGAs in general and Trump and his cronies, will it be court cases, or will it be jail, or will it be military arrest or arrest in general? It's hard to really narrow that down. I would have to do like a reading where I did cards on each one of those scenarios. But just in a general overall sense, the first three cards that come out are the Tower crossed by the Ten of Pentacles, which means that this stuff is just blowing up sky high. It is blowing up. Like, that is imminent. It's the first card out. Crossed with the Ten of Pentacles, there's a lot of money that's going to change hands. And the money is not going to be to pay off by bribes to get them out of jail. It's going to be that they're going to be seized. That's what I get. That money will be seized, properties will be seized, things will be seized. And I think they need to do that. That is another way to rein them in so that they don't run. If all of their material assets and bank accounts and everything are just locked, then they can't run. They can't do anything. The Nine of Swords is at the base of the matter. So people are going to be pretty scared and pretty upset. And in the past, we have the Devil. So all of them deserve it. It's not like anybody innocent is going to be prosecuted. Then we have the Knight of Swords coming in to do the prosecution. And so I think, yes, it's more legal than anything else. However, I get the Knight of Wands, and that guy's carrying a big stick. So there could be some people that end up being locked up or, try to run or something. I mean, I think that's a little more. I don't think it's going to be physical. I don't think there's going to be like any kind of fighting, a riot. I don't think they're going to have anything like that. I do think it's going to be much more. If they don't lock anybody up, I mean, I think they're going to lock some people up, but the people that they don't lock up, I think it's going to be very legal, and I think they're going to find ways to just lock down their assets so that they can't run. So they might not physically be in jail, but they can't go anywhere else.
I'm so glad I asked that question, because as soon as you said seizures of money and property, I thought, yeah, that's the way to control them.
And their cell phones, because if they're and their computers, so they'll seize all of that too, so that they can't go out. Well, they could always get a new computer, right? Or somebody else could post for them, but they're going to try to limit the amount of social media that they have access to. I
like the idea better that just take away their money, because once you do that,
yeah,
once then the fight becomes, oh shit, I got to get my money back, and so you're spending all your time on that. But in the meantime, you're ruined because you can't do anything. You're in a corner, and that I'm wondering, excuse me, if that's what they could end up doing with Trump. Seizing his money would be a great way It's hard to get the plane off the land out of the airport without fuel, and it's hard to get fuel without money. So,
Well, but I think that they would seize the plane. I don't think
okay, yeah,
I
seize the plane,
I
but
don't think he'd have the plane.
perfect,
I think
perfect.
they'd
You know,
seize
I hadn't
all those
thought
things.
about all that.
Yeah, and, uh, what I also get with this is that there will be a threat of jail. There will be, the very real threat that, if you break this, out on your own recognizance thing, you will be in jail, but you won't be in jail. You'll be in federal prison or Guantanamo, something like that. Like you'll be in serious jail. That's what I think. Bad, bad stuff. So, yeah. So I don't think there's going to be, um, I don't see these guys because these guys are old. A lot of these guys are old, and even the ones that aren't as old as Trump are still like in their 50s. Youngest is maybe 40s, like Ramaswamy, and Musk is in his 50s,
Yeah.
so these kind of guys don't try to pull that, they're too, I mean, look at Elon, how lazy he is. He doesn't, he just wants to make pronouncements and posts on X and have the world turn for him. He's lazy. He's not,
Well,
he's
yeah,
not, a,
but he's got all the money. So, I
well,
see him.
I mean, he has a big net worth, but does he really have money? I don't think he has money. I think he's beholden to a whole bunch of people for money. A whole bunch of people for money.
Well, I don't. He gets all his money from the government. He does all these government contracts, gets billions and billions of dollars. So
But
he's
to
pretty.
open, but to open his other companies and to purchase other companies, even like Twitter, he had to borrow money. He did not have the money to do that. So he borrowed. He's mortgaged way, way, way high. So that's why he doesn't really have the money.
Well, I
It's
don't
all
know.
tied up.
Since the election, his wealth has gone up tremendously.
Because companies that he owns that are traded stock wise, the stock price has increased.
Right.
Right.
Well,
But that doesn't,
he can borrow against all that.
he could borrow against all that. That's true. That's true. But I think at some point people want the money paid back. And I think because he's being such a shit, I think there's so many people who just don't want to do business with him.
I think that's probably true too.
Yeah.
But I just don't even get how. Well, I get how he did it, but that he has become so influential, and some of these Republicans are like, "Oh yeah, let's do what Musk said. That's a great idea." I'm like, "What are you talking about? That's like going to your neighbor and saying, I need some help here," and the neighbor says something, and you go, "That's a great idea. I think I'll do what you said." I mean, no, Musk is just he has been. That's the other problem is he's been working this for a long time. That his strategy of buying Twitter, that was just that wasn't the beginning of something. That was what he's culminated because he knew he could use that platform
Hmm.
for worldwide. He's into worldwide domination.
Oh,
So
yeah. Oh, yeah. Wow. This chat is just crazy. Wow. I can't even catch up. I keep going down to the bottom and the scroll bar just keeps
I
lifting.
know I'm doing the same thing.
Like,
And
yeah.
I will tell you that we've got 264 people on here right now. So thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Yeah.
And thanks for all your input. I'm sorry we're not getting to all the questions, but as soon as I try to get that question, we're on to something else.
We're on to something else.
And I got to scroll all the way down again. So,
Something I was going to say with all this, seizing properties and nailing everybody down and getting everything in place, I think they're not only going to be pressing people on the election interference this time, I think they're going to be pressing them on election interference from 2020 as well. And, there's lawsuits out there for a lot of these people, but not all of them. And a lot of the people who are in Congress and the Senate who are MAGAs, that they're going to be surprised that their number's up, that all of a sudden, oops, I'm getting called on the carpet. I'm being threatened with lawsuits or jail or something because of my participation in January 6th or with the election interference in 2020. And I think because of that, I think people will start to sing. And I think the picture will become much clearer about what really was going on. And I think it's just going to make everybody sick to know how widespread it was. I mean, you're going to find out that your postman was a part of this conspiracy. I mean, you're going to find out that people that you didn't even think were MAGA were part of this conspiracy. It's going to be crazy.
It is going to be crazy. So do we think, just as long as we're doing all this speculation,
Yeah.
do we think that there will be an inauguration, regardless of who it is? Will there be an inauguration on January 20th?
Well, I think that's a question for my pendulum.
Okay.
Nope.
So something will be happening. Now, this question here, where'd it go?
Good luck. I did star some questions, but I think we've come and gone on most of the topics.
Okay, this question is, when do you guys think Biden will announce this to the public? I'm glad this came up. This is not going to be a direct announcement. So when you don't hear it, don't be discouraged. I just don't think it is going to be that way. I think that there is so many, this thing just spreads out, and there's just so many different things to look into, that in order to, if they make a big announcement about something like this, it kind of gives it away to the enemy.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think that you're going to hear an announcement that plainly says, look, something got screwed up. We're not going to be able to do the inauguration, blah, blah, blah. I don't think it's going to come out like that. I think it's going to come out in bits and pieces, and not always from Biden, but from other people, other, maybe the FBI, or maybe some, Pete Buttigieg, or
Jack Smith, or somebody from Jack Smith.
It's gonna. I just don't think that they're gonna. That would be, in a perfect world, that's exactly what I wanted to see, and that's what I thought might happen. But the more I think about it, no, because it just gives away everything if he comes right out and says, this is what's going to happen.
What I see is, I don't know if it's Biden either that makes the announcement, but what I see is one person standing at the podium, and behind them is at least 10 people in like a semicircle around them that are the main people who were in charge of filtering through all of the evidence and information they got, setting up a plan for how to make this announcement and what to say to the public, and a plan for how to approach all the perps.
Right, and I think that is exactly what they've been working on for a while now, is how to put all the pieces together to make it cohesive, but as well as, they can't just dump this on the public right off. Just because we know about it, just because we believe we know about it, and we know certain things, the general public is not seeing any of it this way. What they're seeing is what you see on the news, is Trump and bringing all these people into his cabinet and his administration. Trump making, claims against Biden because it was, we're going to become another, what does he call it? When Biden pardoned all these people that were going to be put to death. That's what they're seeing, is those kind of things. And so they're totally in line with, they're just waiting for January 20th, and they're waiting for their new president to come on, and he's going to change everything. However, some of those people just, on the general things about bringing down costs and all that, and Trump talking about these tariffs and stuff, everybody's getting real antsy about that because that does not fit into their program. So that anyway, that's what the people are looking at. They're looking at those things that we see and hear about all the time. They're not looking into when is somebody going to make an announcement that
No,
says
but
something else.
in the chat here, I'm seeing a few comments. What I see with the group that is standing behind the person making the announcements, I see Mark Ruta as one of those people. I see people from Interpol as some of those people. I see other people from the EU standing behind him. And I don't know if it's Biden making the announcement or not, but I see probably some key members of Jack Smith's team. I see maybe just one or two members of Congress or the Senate, just maybe one or two. I see Kamala Harris. I see Kamala Harris not wanting to be a part of that group because she's afraid that it's going to make her look like she's whining after the fact. Oh, I lost. They cheated, and it's not going to make her look like that at all. But I think that some very key international people are going to be a part of that. And Bratu also said Russia, Iran, Iraq, Musk, and Israel were involved, and China in the interference. Yes, that's true. And that's why you're going to see international people standing behind them. And that's also why this has to be so secret. Yes, Interpol, France, UK, AU, DE, and the Netherlands. Yes, that's right. I mean, I would not be surprised if there was a couple presidents and prime ministers standing behind there. And I just want to something just went out of my head. Oh shit, maybe I can get my thoughts again.
In one synapse and out the other.
That's right. That's right. That the it's very interesting that I do think that these communications with some of the perpetrating companies or countries has begun. I mean, we did see that. I think it was Sylvia put in the chat before, the Treasury Department has. I don't know if they've just accused them or if they're pressing charges or if they've arrested people, but they nailed it on. Let me see what it was. Russia and Iran for interfering in the elections. So that has started. So there's a little tip off. There's a little breadcrumb. They have to do something with those other countries before they make this announcement. And I'm wondering too, if Jimmy Carter's funeral doesn't become a cover for a couple of clandestine meetings between heads of state, and that they put the whole thing off until after his funeral. Because think about it, they make this announcement. How the hell are they going to protect dignitaries in Washington?
True.
Right?
He says this has to happen stat. I want to say something about this.
Yeah.
Because this is where it's probably not going to happen that way. And then we talked about this earlier before there were so many people on here about that. I lost my train of thought.
Why they can't have it happen so quickly that there's too much that can come out.
That because that this is what the other psychics were saying, that there would be too little too late. Personally, I do not believe that, but that's, we have to look at all sides of this. And I see a lot of psychics coming up with stuff that what they said last week is kind of different of what's coming now, which that kind of energy, I get it. It is fluctuating like crazy, but they're basically saying that Biden is like kind of giving up, and it's just too much, and and he can't do this, and trust me, no, this is not too much for Joe Biden, but it can't happen. When you say it happened stat, they're saying, some other psychics are saying it's too little too late, that he can't do enough and he can't do it fast enough.
Christine just wrote too, I think it will be after President Carter's funeral. The more I think about that, the more I think that makes sense, because there'll be world leaders. There will be old presidents. I mean, I think Bill Clinton and Hillary already gave their regrets because Bill's sick himself. But, Bush, who are the Bushes who are standing, will go, and I think that NATO, G2, Five Eyes, yeah, they will if they're there.
See, and this is why I think the inauguration is going to be postponed.
Yeah.
because that they can't bring up all this stuff all at once, and it wouldn't serve the right purpose to do it that way. But
Mm-mm.
what would work to go ahead and postpone it, something we've never seen, but postpone this inauguration until all the pieces can come together. But if you postpone that election or inauguration, Trump and his people are going to go bananas. They're just, they're going to just go crazy. How dare you do, he should be. And that's where, because we've always thought that Trump is going to do a fake inauguration.
Mhm.
That's a good possibility. Then again, I look at stuff and I'm think I have a problem. As I'm a psychic that thinks linear. I can't do that. You cannot be psychic and think linear, but it does kind of make sense that if he went crazy with it, that he would just go ahead and do his own his own inauguration, which is not. It means it's nothing. It means nothing.
Nothing, and it might be just perfect for them to just allow that to happen, because then they'll be all distracted and playing the games of Trump's inauguration, rather than worrying about what's going on with NATO and Interpol and Washington and all of
Yeah,
that.
when you're talking about NATO and Interpol and other countries and all these high up dignitaries, it's serious, serious business. And like I've said early on, that is not just us.
I
It's
said it.
other countries, and then there's other countries that are supporting us, and those other countries that are having election interference and becoming authoritarian governments, something that they never wanted. Um, it's just like Trump saying that Canada should become the 51st state.
Yeah,
Please, please, that's never going to happen.
yeah.
Canada does not want that. And he's saying, well, the Canadians are paying too high a taxes, and so they would really like that.
It is open knowledge, it's common knowledge amongst the like European countries, that interference occurred in the 2024 elections for United States, Georgia, Romania, the United Kingdom, Spain, the Netherlands, and the European Union, and probably a few others, but those ones are stated in newspaper articles all over the world. If you Google, was there election interference in 2024 elections, you get a grocery list of countries. There's just so much. So,
Yeah. So anyway, this thing where I know a few weeks ago I was thinking, come January 3rd and January 6th, and we're going to really have a lot of answers and stuff. Now I'm rethinking that they're not going to let the cat out of the bag that easily. Um, Hopefully, we'll have some things that are encouraging. It would be encouraging if Mike Johnson did not get back in, but it's
you
not
know,
the end all.
it it would be just kismet if it worked out, wouldn't it? If they didn't elect Mikey Johnson, if they weren't able to certify on the 6th, and if that alone postponed the inauguration, it would be just beautiful, beautiful kismet if that just happened. And then the Biden and all the other people can really focus on this other thing. You know what I mean? They can focus on it, because look at the numbers: January 3rd, January 6th, January 9th. These are in, multiples of three. Three is a magical number. So I'm thinking magical right now. I'm just hoping, please, please, just let it all work out like that.
But again, if it doesn't go just the way we all think well, the way we want it to go, don't think that that means okay, we're sunk.
Oh
We're
no, no, I
sunk.
wouldn't. Yeah, yeah.
Don't think
And you
that.
guys too. Don't
Uh,
think like that. Don't think like that.
Even if Trump was to get in and be inaugurated, before I was just panic thinking if that happens, it's all over. No, it's not. There's so
All right.
many other things that are going to work into this. When you guys were talking about the Carter funeral, and I love Carter's strategy that things wouldn't that be something though to use his funeral as kind of a
The first
cover
thing
up?
I thought of. It was the first thing I thought of when I heard that he passed. I was just like, Oh, perfect. So they can have all sorts of meetings behind the curtain during the funeral. Of course they can.
Yeah, that, and wouldn't Carter just be happy as hell?
Tickled pink. Tickled pink he would be. He has the same birthday as me.
And I think it's just amazing that Carter managed to live long enough to vote for Kamala Harris.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
And
you know,
he's the longest living president. He's the longest president. He's lived the longest of any of the 46 presidents.
well, and he also just put every day of his life into service of helping others and the disadvantaged, and just so much that he has done. And just a kind person. Um, it just it's a sad loss, but obviously at 100, you're probably not going to make it much past that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, if they would use that. When is his funeral coming up? The 9th?
January 9th. So they have January 3rd is the meeting of Congress and supposedly the swearing in. January 6th is supposed to be the certification. And January 9th is when they're going to have his funeral. I don't know if he's lying in state or not. I don't remember what the details
Yeah,
were.
he is. He will
He is?
be. He will
Okay.
be.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Many opportunities for meetings, I watch too many spy shows.
But yes, they will. They will be. He will lie in state, and they could use that as a
Yeah.
cover.
Yeah, they could. But more than that, I just think it would be unsafe for them to make any kind of allusion or announcement about this thing and then expect that Washington D.C. that the CIA could protect all these people or the FBI or the police or whoever. No, but they wouldn't be able to protect all of these dignitaries in Washington if they made this announcement prior to the funeral. So I think right there we probably have some timing that's just built into the cake because they got to wait until after the funeral. I think.
Well, we're all, there is so much speculation. There is also the chance that things don't go the way we want them to. I just want everybody to know
This is true. This is
that
true.
if that should happen, it is not the end all of. I think it's like Linda G kept saying that if Trump gets in, he won't be in there very long.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to wonder, well, why would that be? And there could be again a multiple reasons of why that might be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think I'm looking for something for January 3rd and January 6th. I'm looking for some big news. It may not happen, but that does not mean that all is lost. That's just what I want to tell everybody. And again, my guides and I just they just drive me nuts because they keep telling me Kamala will be there. She will be inaugurated. Stop worrying about it. And then, but I want to know all the steps in between. And when they say she will be, when is that? Is that this year in 2025? Is that somewhere down the road? I don't know. But
Mars is retrograde until February 23rd. And the more I realize that in my feed, I have been getting more and more and more astrologers that I never heard of talking to me about Mars retrograde, Mars retrograde, Mars retrograde, and Mars has been opposing Pluto. And I thought that was a bad thing. And I thought that was going to be really harsh. But it's the retrograde, I think, that is so harsh. And I think then once it is not retrograde anymore, then about a week later, we're in March. And I think, who was it? Kim from Intuitive View originally had said March, April. A lot of people are leaning towards that March, April timeframe. We have eclipses in March. A lot of things.
Medium Kim said March. She
Yeah,
was one of the very first ones that
she's
said
one of the
it.
ones. That's right. And so I'm starting to lean towards that because it makes the most sense.
But like I said, if Trump gets in on January 20th, don't jump off the bridge. It's not.
Um,
It's
no.
not. It's not. It's still not over. There's other stuff coming up. I guess apparently we have a troll today.
Oh, we do?
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of flattered, but I don't get many trolls. So,
Okay.
but everybody knows who it is, I guess. And
Can somebody put the name in the chat and I'll go deal with them? That is, if I can get to the bottom of the chat. God, I can't get down to the bottom of the chat.
You know, and the other statement, and Colleen came up with this in one of her shows, was talking about when Biden came out and looked at Kamala and said, "You're not going anywhere, kid. You're not going anywhere." I just love that line. I just, you know, the minute I heard it, I thought, okay, is that like a secret message? Is what is going on? Why would he say something like that? That alone gives me hope. So anyway, have you found out who the troll is?
Oh, Sherry took care of it a while ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Apparently, you have an embarrassment of riches when it comes to moderators. That's just amazing. And I just want to announce right now, I don't think I have any moderators anymore on my channel. I don't know what happened, but the last couple of times that I've done things on StreamYard where I have the chat, I don't see any wrenches. So if anybody wants to be a moderator, let me know.
Oh, okay.
So
Well, we've been on here an
almost
hour
an hour
and
and a half.
25 minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't even think it was going to go an hour. Um, and we covered a lot of area. I hope that people understand what we're saying and that, you know, no, you're not going to probably hear something right away, but even little hints, just watch for well, Colin calls them the breadcrumbs. Watch for the breadcrumbs that are coming out and what's going on. And thank you so much. We got like 300 people in here right now. So
Yeah.
so excited how this went. And thanks, you know, happy new year. Honestly, this year is going to be good. It will be good. It may start off rocky, especially since we don't know what in the hell is going on, but it's going to be good in the end. And well, actually, way before the end. And so anyway, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. Thanks for coming. Thanks for all your input. And we will see you guys soon.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Love you guys. Take care. Happy New Year.